Illinois Public Media News, this is 217 Today. I'm Kimberly Schofield. It's Wednesday, March 11th. Coming up, in western Illinois, where gravel roads cut through open prairie, writer and Knox College professor Cyn Kitchen has been paying attention to seasons, to loss, and to faith. That story in just a few minutes, but first, these headlines. Homelessness is a growing problem in Champaign County. A group of organizations focused on the issue is launching a new strategic plan. IPM Student Newsroom's Cyn Kitchen has more.
The Champaign County continuum of service providers to the homeless consists of local government entities, businesses, nonprofits, and other service providers. They're using local data to see how homelessness affects the community and identify gaps in resources. Demita Parsley is a vice chair for the group and one of the speakers at Monday's kickoff event.
It's very important to have a strategic plan. Homelessness is critical. It's serious, it's growing, it's increasing. There has to be a plan.
The event included guest speakers and a brainstorming session. Local officials say the goal is functional zero homelessness, meaning homelessness is rare, brief, and one time. I'm Cyn Kitchen, IPM News.
Organizers say they plan to present the strategic plan by June and complete the work over the next several years. Urbana City Council's newest member says he'll focus on affordability and opportunities for young people. IPM Student Newsroom's Knox College has this report from the council meeting Monday night.
The council appointed Champaign native Verdell Jones III to represent Ward 4. Jones graduated from Central High School and attended Indiana University, where he played basketball. He's now a firefighter in Champaign and leads a nonprofit that uses sports to mentor young people. Jones says he wants to work on issues like affordable housing, education, and holding leaders accountable.
I'm a true believer that, you don't ask for change, be the change. We're an opportunity to be the change, and, you can march all you want, but unless you have a seat at the table, real change doesn't happen.
Jones was appointed by Urbana Mayor Deshaun Williams, who tells IPM he chose him for his heart for service and personal relationship with the CU area. The seat filled by Jones has been vacant since February, when Jaya Colasetti resigned after moving out of Ward 4. I'm Knox College, IPM News.
Jones' term will continue through April 2027, when the seat is up for election. The Champaign Unit 4 School Board has approved a settlement with a former elementary school administrator. The district reached a $100,000 agreement with Rebecca Ramey, a former assistant principal at Booker T. Washington STEM Academy. Her complaint stems from 2 years ago, when few of the current board members had been voted in yet. Administrators removed Ramey and a popular BTW principal from their roles at the school. That sparked parent protests and added fuel to the effort to push out then-Superintendent Sheila Boozer. 4 board members voted for the settlement with Ramey, who claimed the district retaliated against her on the basis of her sexual orientation. Board member Justin Michael Hendricks voted against the settlement, saying he hasn't seen any facts supporting that allegation.
What I have witnessed in this situation is nothing more than a pile-on to a former superintendent who is going to be said to be homophobic. I can say firsthand, she's not homophobic.
Board President Tony Bruno said he was voting for it because the district's lawyers negotiated the settlement in the community's interest. The March primary election is next Tuesday, and a candidate vying for the GOP nomination for Illinois governor is cranking up the heat. Mawa Iqbal reports.
Ted Dabrowski is out with a new ad attacking one of his opponents in the four-way primary. The former president of conservative think tank Wirepoint says beating Governor J.B. Pritzker will require a Republican who can court suburbanites.
Victory runs through the suburbs, and Darren Bailey is a disaster in the suburbs. It's why Pritzker wanted to run against him 4 years ago and wants to again.
Bailey was the 2022 GOP gubernatorial nominee and lost all but one of the 5 collar counties to Pritzker. Bailey's campaign is on a bus tour downstate through Sunday. Also running are video gambling mogul Rick Heidner and DuPage County Sheriff James Mendrick. I'm Mawa Iqbal.
Still to come, in western Illinois, where gravel roads cut through open prairie, writer and Knox College professor Cyn Kitchen has been paying attention to seasons, to loss, and to faith. That story is coming up next on 217 Today, but first, meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your forecast.
I'm meteorologist Andrew Pritchard with your IPM News forecast for Champaign-Urbana. Your forecast for today: cloudy and breezy with showers and thunderstorms likely and a high near 60 degrees this morning, with temperatures falling into the 40s this afternoon, with a west wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 28 degrees, northwest wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 51 degrees, a west wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy with a low of 41 degrees, southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. And for Friday, partly cloudy and windy with a high of 54 degrees and a southwest wind 20 to 25 miles per hour.
Next time on the 21st Show, we're less than a week away from Illinois' primary election day as voters decide who will represent Democrats and Republicans in the race to succeed retiring U.S. Senator Dick Durbin. In the second of a two-part series, we'll bring you recaps of our interviews with the candidates. I'm Brian Mackey. That's next time on the 21st Show. Join us at 11 a.m. on AM 580 and 6 p.m. on FM 90.9.
You're listening to 217 Today. I'm Kimberly Schofield. In western Illinois, where gravel roads cut through open prairie, writer and Knox College professor Cyn Kitchen has been paying attention to seasons, to loss, and to faith. After years of writing and revising, Kitchen's new poetry collection, Broken Alleluia, is coming into the world. Jane Carlson has the story.
A raccoon croaked in the ditch down the road where, years ago, workers poured a concrete abutment to keep the farmer's field from washing towards the river.
Kitchen lives on what she calls a slab of land at the border of trees and prairie near Mequon.
Her plump body curled in repose, nose nestled in fur as if there was no reason to travel any further.
Through the large plate glass windows of her house, she's watched the changing of seasons and the cycles of life.
The tableau lives, or dies, at the bottom of a rise where I walk, dock, along the gravel way that he marks every few feet, covering a scent I cannot smell with another.
We've been listening to Kitchen read a portion of her poem, The Tableau.
Winter preserves the carcass, no aroma of decay. To summon coyotes, leaving the body unmolested behind its mausoleum wall. Doc and I will continue to pay respect until her body disappears. Or for that matter, we do.
Kitchen has lived in this rural setting and has been looking out those windows and walking her dogs for 14 years. She says the poems in Broken Hallelujah began taking shape after she had been out there for a while, watching, listening, and trying to translate what she saw into language.
I started out kind of trying to capture things in photographs. And then one day it struck me, you could probably try to capture these images in language as well.
Kitchen grew up in Galesburg, and she did not dream of becoming a writer. She did not become one until she was in her 30s.
Had lived a life where I was a young wife, raising a family, high school graduate, no real career aspirations, and difficulties in life created a kind of selfish urge in me to do something that was just for me. And so I took a creative writing class at Knox College and never dreamed that it would lead somewhere else and that it would spark what it did.
Kitchen says that class unlocked the writer in her and let her off the leash. She continued her education at Knox College, earning degrees in English and creative writing, then got an MFA at Spalding University. She began teaching at Knox and published a short story collection. But poetry, she says, was her first genre and the one she eventually returned to after what she calls a 16-year detour. The poems in Broken Hallelujah are rooted in prairie life, but they are also shaped by grief and the changing seasons of Kitchen's life, from her mother's death to entering her own era of becoming a grandmother.
I never really thought of winter as a beautiful time. Everything's dead. There's nothing beautiful about winter, right? But when I got in close proximity to it, I began to see things a little bit differently. And I, at the same time was seeing my mother in the winter of her life, and being able to just pay reverence to that seemed to make good sense to me.
The collection moves through solitude, memory, and loss, while remaining attentive to what Kitchen calls small, luminous moments. She says the title reflects that tension, praise that is imperfect and sometimes hesitant, but still offered.
I think about the whole collection as being kind of this prayer in some way But it's flawed, like everything else, like everything in nature, like what lives and then what has to die. What once is vibrant but then fades and drains and becomes brittle and lost.
While many of the poems in Broken Hallelujah were previously published, Kitchen says getting the collection into the world took persistence. She began submitting the manuscript in 2017 and racked up 90 rejections, followed by multiple revisions, before the book was accepted by Finishing Line Press. She says she tells her students that rejection is part of the work.
Over time, the one thing that I have figured out that separates people who get published from people who don't get published is that people who get published never give up.
Pre-orders of Broken Hallelujah are available on Kitchen's website or the publisher's website, with the book officially published this summer. And the creative writing professor, who never dreamed of becoming a writer, says poetry should have a wide audience. Kitchen says poetry is about saying really important things in really beautiful ways. I'm Jane Carlson.
That's it for today. 2 and 7 Today is produced by Juliana Means. Reporting today contributed by Anison Krebs-Carr, Knox Minot, Emily Hayes, Arjun Secker, Mawa Iqbal, and Jane Carlson. Music by the Kilbourne Alley Blues Band. Reginald Hardwick is our news director. I'm Kimberly Schofield. And a note about the podcast, starting Monday, March 14th, it will go on hiatus. The IPM News team will be preparing for 2 and 7 Today to relaunch with you in mind, including breaking daily news stories that happen before the afternoon newscasts on All Things Considered, so stay tuned. 2 and 7 Today is a production of Illinois Public Media. Thanks for listening, stay safe, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.